Flosstube, it's Janet with Janet Jabber. I'm coming at you with episode 307. If you're new to my channel, this is a channel about cross stitch, so I hope you like what you see. Please subscribe, comment, and do the YouTube things. If you're a returning friend, thank you so much for coming back to see me this week. I have had a very busy week and adjustment going on. So again, I constantly feel like I'm saying thank you for all the warm wishes in regards to happy retirement as I start on this new adventure. Yes, and Opie, clearly he hears me and he comes over here and then he settles down on my lap. I have had a very busy week. I think that I'm still learning, like, you have all those like to-do lists or things you've been putting off, and I put a big thing on my to-do list. We'll talk about at the end in regards to stuff, but I've been doing a tiny bit of painting. So yeah. All right. But I've also been getting my stitching done. It is a weird thing trying to figure out, oh my gosh, the new norm in regards to what I'm going to do, because usually I would touch like lots of projects in one day. And I just feel my shift in the change of things up to where like I'm going to maybe focus on one project a day. I don't know. I still have my monthly goals, so I'm still working through all that, but it's fine. I'm allowing myself the grace to figure out what these changes look like. As the cat is attacking the tripod and the dog is like all over the place, we're going to do this. Opie, I need you to sit down. All right. I want to remind people, if you are new here or you have never filled out the Happy Mail form, I have a Happy Mail link in my description box below. That is what I use to send out Happy Mail once a month. It's just something that I like to do on this channel, and you'll find other information there. I do not give information in regards to like everything, the details of all my stitch stuff. If you have questions about that, then just give me a shout and I'll try to answer them. The way I see it is like, you may like the fabric, but it may not be something that you can get a hold of, or it may come across different on the channel. I don't know. It's just my thoughts. And I also am scattered brained in regards to like remembering to do the same things every time when I show my projects. So that's kind of my excuse. And then, anyway, all that to tell you, I do have a description box. You can check stuff out. If it's not what you want or need, then reach out to me. Blah, all that. janetjabber@gmail.com is where you can do that. Okay. That was a little bit of weird rambling, but I don't know what. It's probably because this cat is attacking the tripod and it's all the crazy. All right, let's get on to the normal stuff around here. One of the things that we love to do on this channel, and I say we because I do get the information from you guys and I love the community point of this. So this is my featured friend. My featured friend this time is Lynn. This last weekend was a sit and stitch at my LNS, and Lynn and her daughter Laura were able to come, and I was so excited to sit and chat with them. I've met them in the past, but like it was more, I felt like we got it every time, depending on where you sit at the table, allows you to have more of a visit with somebody. So this time it was Laura and her mom, Lynn. And Lynn was picking up two pieces that she had framed. And I asked, basically, could I take a picture and share those? And she graciously allowed me to. So I am so excited to share fresh from the framer at my Stitch and Frame, Lynn's pictures. I don't even have any details on these, but they're so gorgeous. They're just, she picked out perfect frames and they are so gorgeous. I am so grateful for you, Lynn, for letting me share this first big one. I think she said that was a frame that she had at home and repurposed. And the second one is a frame that she had at home and had to cut down to make it perfect. But what a lovely, lovely thing to be able to have that to do. And the repurposing of frames, what a cool thing to do. So that was exciting to see those and for sharing. So thank you very much for that, Lynn. If you would like to, Opie is like giving me a bath. If you would like to have your piece shown on here, just send me an email at janetjabber@gmail.com, attach the picture and anything you'd like for me to share, and I get it added to the queue. So that is where you do that at. With that, we're gonna get into my stitching. I knew I had one more piece to pick up from the framer, so and I was being lazy about getting up there because I knew I was going to sit and stitch. So we went and did that this weekend, like I said, and I am picking up my Queen of Peace to share with you. Oh, there's a doggy hair on it. Anyway, my Queen of Peace, this is what she looks like. All framed, you're seeing my junk piles everywhere. Ooh, let's just see if you can just do that. That frame is gorgeous. If you recall, My Lizzie helps pick out the frames for what she knows that she is eventually going to want. It turned out perfect. I'm so glad to have Queen of Freedom, or my Queen of Peace, back home. And they will be displayed really soon. Sorry, loud noise. They will be displayed really soon into some good home spaces. So we'll talk about that in what I've been doing. Something else that found its way home to me, I have been part of a round robin, and my piece of the Tiny Town round robin, Frosty Town, is home and done. I had somebody crack me up saying, oh, so like you stitched just a little bit and you cheated and sent it around and other people stitched on it. Well, yeah, that's what a round robin is, but I also stitched on theirs, and I don't get to count theirs as finished. So by sending it around, I did stitch on many parts of round robins, or many parts of Tiny Towns, but this is the one that I sent around to be shared. So I get to mark this off as a done whip, and it's beautiful. And I would not, I'd like to assume who sent the needle minder, but I don't know for sure, but I can almost guess it was Vic Stitch and Button. But tell me if I'm wrong, ladies. Tell me if I'm wrong. Those are my finishes. So I'm fully finished and my finished Tiny Town. And then what else did I get into as far as my stitching this week? I'm going to pop a picture in here of my Sunflower Wisdom. This is like what it's supposed to look like. And this is what it is currently housed on, and the little bit I've got done. My goal is 100 stitches a day, and I've not been great about that, but I will get back on that. That is an 18 count Grace Notes fabric, a mint macho. And I say that word wrong every time. And my daughter just told me recently, like, the world's going to run out of that because people are consuming it so much. Google, that's who told her that. But anyway, that big old frame sitting on my Lowry, which I've never used, was something I had been like, I want that to be the home as I stitch on that. And I was, during the week on World Cross Stitch Day, I was at my stitching store, and someone had passed away, and a bunch of things got donated, and some things they're trying to resell for the person's family. But this is one of the things that those roller rods are something that was given away. So I got me a set of Easy Stitch. I was trying to recreate the wheel in regards to these scroller rods. I got the parts and was going to make my own. And then I was blessed to be able to have those. And that's the home for that now. So exciting. And that's going to be slow going. But I'm super excited to have a home and to be able to, I want to learn to two-handed stitch or whatever. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. The other thing that I stitch on every single day, Monday through Friday, is my seasonal stitch. My seasonal stitch currently is Blueberry Ridge Designs Sampler Seasons Summer. It was originally meant to be monochromatic. I changed it to a Coloris, and the Coloris color I'm using is 4502. It has 4 different colors in it, and then I bring out those. I put the border down here is my Coloris. And then these are the 4 colors, that are in that Coloris. And I then bring it out in different locations. So I'm plugging along. The word summer goes here. There's an alphabet goes here. There's a few more motifs and then scattered in little things. So I'm plugging along. I look to get these done by the end of the season, which clearly I don't think I'll have a problem doing. So excited about this. EJ Stitcher from the Sunshine Stitches is who the one came up with this idea. And then I run with it. Her and I worked together to figure out the Coloris colors, and it has been a lot of fun. So that is that as far as where that has gone. Something else that I put 1,000 stitches on is my Elf Fairy by Soda Stitch. This is an adopted whip by Jordan, the Tattooed Stitcher. That is what it will look like when it's done. It's fun, it's different, and I adopted this because I was trying to step outside of my norm. I'd never stitched a Soda Stitch before, and I had never stitched on, I'm not usually this wild color of fabric, but I wanted to be outside of my norm. So this is where it's at. The 1,000 stitches I got in was on more of this color right here for the tree trunk, which I think is like 3821 or something, but and I completed that color. So down here, over here, there's another branch that comes out here. Super fun to plug away at that and watch this come to life. So I'm loving that. I love all my whips. That's why I stitch them. And I know we all say, I love it, I love it, I love it. The next thing that I stitched on, you had seen me stitch like 400 and I said I had like 600 more, and that is my put a bird on it. This again is EJ from the Sunshine Stitchers, has this big old stitch that's from Modern Folk Embroidery, and she divided it into 12 different sections. I went rogue on that, and I'm doing just 1,000 stitches a month is what it broke down after I had my start. So that is my goal every single month. And I'm excited to show you where I'm at on that. I try to put it on this board to make it easier. I think I told you last time I had the swan and I had this little flower motif done. So last time I showed it to you, I had this, and I had started on here. So I finished off this motif and it left me exactly where I needed to be. I know for it to finish this, I know that I was just showing it to you, but to finish it, there's like a row of motifs that come across here. And so there's another one here also, but plugging along, there's going to be no problem getting that done for 2025's stitch along. And for me, I don't think. Foreseeing no problems in the future. The next thing that I sat and stitched on at my stitch along was I worked on this because it was one color and I didn't have to change it. And this is another Modern Folk Embroidery, and it's the River. It is supposed to look like this. It was a monochromatic. I got this in a box from the Black Needle Society a long time ago, and I picked out, it came with a green called the River Floss. Ollie, stop please. And this is where I'm at on it. When I picked it up, I had this blank and this blank, and I really wanted to make the words be last, but it made it too hard for me to figure out where to start with the flower. So I did the words, and then the pot will go here, and I can figure out based on this where to start and do that. But this is where it's at for now. And this is my maiden name. And I tell people this speaks to me in regards to my maiden name because of, like, I see it as like family and blood, you know, that you hear that blood is thicker than water and da 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 da. Well, the river that flows through you also flows through me, makes me just like think that way. And if it sounds weird, it's probably weird, but it's what I liked. So again, pretty cool that is plugging along. The next stitch I have to show you, I have a couple more to show you. Ollie is determined to make you guys bounce all over the place. Is Seeking Refuge, and this is one of them that I pulled from Sammy's Whippagories. I call it my struggle bus. That was the category for August. This is Seeking Refuge by the Scarlet House. I started this in 2020, shortly after my father had passed, which just kind of encompasses what it says. But the reason it is a struggle bus for me is I am down to filling in all this black, and then this is all this green, and then I still have some motifs up there, but for whatever reason I've fallen to stitching down here. So I put a big old chunk of black in and just moved it along. Super cool. Super cool. And the last thing I have to show you about my stitching, I was so excited to get back onto this. This is my butterfly afghan. It should look like this when it's done. I stitch on this every single Sunday in regards to I got this afghan from my mother. The books I had collected through the years, the Stony Creek collections, 2006 and 7 is where these were at, but this is the butterfly, this is the monarch one, and after that I think I have 3 more squares. I think I could be wrong. 3 more squares after this one, I believe, but that's where it came along. I got good stitching on it yesterday. One of the things that I didn't get stitched on, but I have a plan, is I am joining the football thing. I didn't bring the paper over here. I am joining the football. My team is the Indianapolis Colts, and for whatever points they scored in their game that week, I am doing it times 10. So they lost this last week, 21-16, I think was the score against the Ravens. So I owe it 160 stitches. This is what I'm stitching, and I will, I look forward to like getting, I got all the threads pulled. I just need to get it started and get that done. So that should be done by the time I come to you next week. Something else that should be done is my next round robin that I have to push along, and this gets sent off to Sarah from our Stitching Kingdom, is Seaside Tiny Town. And this is where it's at. I may be the last one, and that means it's Sarah's. I meant to look that up. I'm 90% sure this is Sarah's. So this is where it's at. I have stitching to go along here, and then get that mailed off. And like I said, I'm 90% sure it's Sarah's. I should have looked that up. That's a little bit of my plans. Get caught up on the Indiana one, do this tiny town, and then we'll see. Like, clearly I hope to be good and strong in regards to my Afghan again, my seasonal one. And then I really would like to, in my brain, even as I said, I'm like, pick something and stitch it once a day. I want to do 100 stitches on my Sunflower Wisdom one. My seasonal one I do, so really it'll be like 3-ish is what I'll work on every single day. But I would love to, I don't know, eventually. I'm too busy to be like, just one thing today, but we'll see. Maybe my one time at night, once I settle in for the night, that's what it'll be. And then I don't change it out. That's probably what I should do. That's probably why I should give myself grace. All right, so that's my stitching. That's kind of my plans as I'm still trying to figure this thing out. I got some threads that I picked up as far as haul goes, which I didn't bring it over here because it was just some DMC for, I have the seasonal stitch for Stacy Stitch's swap that I'm in, so that has to get started this week too. So there's the 3 things that gotta get started, because I feel the month is slipping by already. It's not, but it's how I feel. So that's it. That's plans, that's stitching, that's all that. I'm gonna talk to you about personal life. My goals that I mentioned at the beginning is a lot of painting. So since I've seen you last, I took one day, I'm gonna have this wrong, like Tuesday, I stitched my kitchen dining room area, and there's a hallway that leads in from my garage. So that is like a whole shot of my house. That all got painted, and I'm doing this like antique white. My house was like called Mindful Gray, and it's changing to antique white. So I stitched all of that on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I had my husband take the tank off of the toilet in the main bathroom, and I painted the main bathroom and the hallway outside of that bathroom. Put that all back together when he got off work. The next day before he went to work, tank off of the master bathroom. I painted all of that bathroom and the hallway leading into my bedroom. That's done. And then I was like, okay, that was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I was like, all right, done. It's World Cross Stitch Day. I'm going to go stitch with my friends. And I did. And don't kid yourself. I've been tired, but this is something that I have wanted to do for a while. And I am like a chucker off until that's done. I don't know that I'll figure out what the common norm is of retirement. But my living room has vaulted ceilings. And we had to borrow a ladder from a neighbor to get up there. His ladder went up to 14 feet. I think I only needed 12 feet, 10 feet. I'm not really sure. I did tape measure it out. It's 12 feet, like 2 inches or something like that. Is that what it was? I think that's what it was. No, 12 foot, 2 feet. That's what it was. Anyway, regardless, you don't really care. But my family made me promise not to paint that unless they were home. So that I copied. That happened over the weekend. 3 walls, which one's like a big opening, so I don't really count it as a wall, but got done on Saturday. And then my husband and I just like picked an accent color and went with it. And I love it. It's a dark blue. And I painted that on Sunday. So the living room is done. I'm going to show you the living room. I don't know. You probably don't even really care, but I'm knocking it out. Antique white and this dark blue is what the living room is. There's no pictures on my wall currently. I get to reinvent where we're hanging all the things. That's why I said my Queen of Peace, my Queen of Freedom, all that's going to be reinvented of where it goes. And then that leaves me with this room that I record in, which is pretty much going to be it is the exact same color, but I'm going from a flat to an eggshell in the house. And then my bedroom and the entranceway, and then it's done. So that probably will all be done before I come to see you this next week. I'm not going to repaint my laundry room. I told my husband, I'm like, as much as it probably needs to be painted, I'm not painting it until like we would need a new washer or dryer. I just don't know. I don't want to go messing in there. So that's currently what I'm saying to you. Other than that, that's it. That's all I got. I mean, that was a lot. I have all that done. We did do some hanging out with the grandkids, so I have pictures to show you there. The kids came over, grandkids came over, and I was so excited. Like, it was like the best calm that I needed. Henry fell asleep in my lap. Ozzy's sitting next to me watching a little bit of her calming TV. They try to limit how much TV they watch, so this was just what we did for a quiet time for her while Henry napped. And so a lot of love in that calmness. And then I took them outside to play, and they're little stinker butts. I have just some of that plastic stuff in my backyard for them to play on. And it was awesome to have that time with them and to do those things. I'm getting a lot more time with the grands, so that's amazing. And then a big project my husband did while I was painting. My husband has had this car project he's been doing for, it feels like 2 years now. And it feels like 2 years. He has an old 944 that originally was bought for a project for him and his oldest son to do together. And then we had to buy his oldest son out of it because they went in together, and then family dynamics. So we bought him out, and it became my husband's project to do an engine swap and to get this car running. And then he came up with this like card logo paint thing he wanted to do. So he's been working on that and relentlessly, and it was time to do the clear coat on it. So all that to say that there's this blow up paint booth in my front yard, and he clear coated it on Sunday, and I have a picture as he was like pulling it out and sharing it, and it's not done yet. As far as like, he's like, oh, I still got stuff to do. Like, he's got seats and stuff like that, but that was a big deal for him to get to that point on the car. So I was excited for him. And like, we just plug along with life. It's kind of cool to see those kind of things coming together. For both of us have our own hobbies. He has his hobbies like ebb and flow, where he has multiple ones that he cycles through, because my husband, he was diagnosed as a child, but not anymore. I don't know. He doesn't take medicine for it, but ADHD is something. He definitely has that attention situation that goes on. So he jumps from thing to thing. So for the fact that he stayed on this hobby, that's a big deal. And it's pretty much finished. So that's kind of cool for him. All that to just ramble about my personal life as I am trying to settle into what the new norm will be for retirement. Not there yet. I had lots of people tell me it'll take a month or two before you feel like you've got all your projects done and you start feeling like you're retired, because right now it just kind of feels like an extended vacation. It is what it is. Yep, that's it. I've rambled so much about my personal stuff. I love my visits with you guys. I look forward to them. Yeah, so just keep commenting and sending me your stuff, talking cross stitch, being about the cross stitch. I love it all. So please have a great week. Enjoy and stay cool if you're in that atmosphere where like it is just hot all out. But it's time of the year it is for us around here. So please keep stitching, enjoy life. And I'm sending you so much love. Bye.